What's up guys, today I'm going to talk about two magnificent machines that I really love. So we have in one corner a MacBook Pro. It's a 15-inch MacBook Pro 2017. Basically it's a MacBook Pro like the new ones. And in the other side we have the MacBook Air 13-inch. So if to be honest, I'm not a very techie guy. I mean, I do love tech and all the gadgets and stuff like that, especially Apple, but I don't really get into the specs, into the specific stuff that maybe other people do. So in this comparison, I'm not going to talk about all the specific stuff in the two computers, in the two Macs. I'm going to talk about the important stuff, like if it's good for work, if it's good for editing, what should you pick. Eventually, I want you to go out from this video today that you're seeing now with a decision if you're going to buy the MacBook Pro or if you're going to buy the MacBook Air. So before we're going to do that, let's see the MacBooks in the sexy vibe of them, right? You know, B-roll, let's see that. Okay, cool. That was smooth-ish. Okay guys, so let's talk about the techie details, just a few of them, just to put it aside, okay? So we have the MacBook Pro, which has Intel 4th core with 3.1 GHz, with Intel HD graphics 630, and with 16 GB RAM. And for the MacBook Air, it's Intel dual core with 1.6 GHz. And for the graphic card of it, it's Intel Ultra HD 670 and DDR3 16 GB RAM. Now for me it's not saying a lot. I just know personally that I need as much GB RAM as possible and a good graphic card if I want to edit on the computer. So now that we put that aside, let's dive into the interesting stuff. First category is work and study. Now I wanted to speak about it because usually a lot of people buying MacBook, laptop, computers for work or study. So I will divide it into two, workforce and convenience. So I will divide it into two, workforce and which one of them is more comfortable to work with. Now the MacBook Air, which is much smaller, of course, it's a 13-inch, is the MacBook that I'm working with. It is a comfortable computer. I love it and it's small, it's convenient, but the one thing that I don't really love about it is that it has a smaller speakers, obviously, and it doesn't have the additional keyboard here, like with the numbers, which I actually love using. I don't know if it's because I'm used to use it, but for me it's missing. And the other thing is that if you're going to use the touchpad here, which I absolutely love, I must say, because it has a lot of functionalities, but if you're going to really work with this computer, I will advise you getting a monitor if you are going to work in a workspace and not remotely or something like that. And of course, getting a mouse. This is the mouse that I'm using. I absolutely love it. It has all the back and forth buttons, horizontal and vertical scrolling. It's very good. It's Logitech. I will put the link in the description for those of you who want to check it. But the more important part here is the workforce. Now, the MacBook Air has a good workforce, but sometimes you're gonna feel if you used to open multiple tabs on your Chrome or Safari, it doesn't matter. And I really try to use both Safari. Now, I did try to use both Safari and Chrome, and which Safari is supposed to be the recommended browser for Apple, but I didn't feel like it's making the computer much faster. So I got back to Chrome and I actually love using Chrome. So if you plan on working with multiple tabs, a lot of stuff open in the same time, for example, editing, which it's the next category, don't get the MacBook Air. But if you're going to work or study regularly, you know, like open one Chrome or one browser at a time, few tabs, and not something serious like, I don't know, managing multiple ad accounts or campaigns or marketing stuff or editing or complicated platforms or programs that use a lot of your workforce. So yeah, you can get the MacBook Air if you don't do all of the stuff that I just mentioned. But if you do, so don't get the MacBook Air. So everything I just mentioned, the MacBook Pro does answer it. So you have a larger speakers and you have a larger keyboard. It doesn't have a extension keyboard here with the numbers and stuff, but it's much more convenient to use. It's bigger, and if you love the mousepad here of the Apple, of the MacBook, it's awesome, it's amazing. I mean, it's huge, you see? And one thing that's very improving the computer, the MacBook, is the touch bar here, which is very cool thing if you love touch stuff, obviously. But the one important thing is the workforce. So because of the techie details and the spec of the MacBook Pro is much stronger, so obviously the MacBook Pro will work better with multiple tabs, editing and stuff like that. So for me, I'm doing my daily work on the MacBook Air, or study if I want. So everything related to basic work and managing clients. Yeah, for those of you who doesn't know, I don't think I even introduced myself. So if you're new here, my name is Non Firuz. Yeah. And if you want to join my journey on getting better on YouTube and growing and getting into my journey to financial freedom, yeah, that's one of my goals, being free. So yeah, please join. Turn on the bell notification, and of course like this video. It's helpful for the, you know, the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, let's get back into the computers. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I own a media and online marketing agency. So I manage clients, I do campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, Google, and everything I'm doing through this one. Sometimes I do feel it's like it's having a hard time to manage the multiple tabs that open together, but basically it's doing the work. And for all the other stuff like editing and stuff like that, we are using the MacBook Pro. And that's led me to the second category, which is editing. We can sum it up very easily. MacBook Air, actually, you know what? MacBook Air is doing editing pretty good. In the last few months, I'm trying to edit on my MacBook Air and it's working pretty good actually. So if you're going to edit with After Effects, Premiere Pro, more complicated stuff, illustration, doing like crazy animation stuff, so the MacBook Air is definitely not for you. Don't get the MacBook Air. But if you're going to do like simple editing on Premiere Pro or Final Cut or stuff like that, so I think that this MacBook Air can handle it. The 13-inch with dual core, it's doing pretty good job, and I managed to edit videos very easily, but the one problem was when I wanted to export it. It's taking much longer than the MacBook Pro. So if you have the time and it's not a rush, and it's sometimes that you need to edit something, and most of the thing that you do with the MacBook Air, it's work or study, so definitely get the MacBook Air. Don't pay the overprice on the MacBook Pro. Yeah, the price is something that we didn't spoke about. The MacBook Air cost like third of what the MacBook Pro, this one, cost me. So this one was a special order, which I asked to max the memory to 1 terabyte, and this one is a basic MacBook Air, which again is doing all the work and I can edit with it. So if you don't want to overprice the MacBook Pro, get the MacBook Air. Now for the MacBook Pro editing abilities, this one is a beast. It's amazing. It's editing very quickly, very fast. It's very rare to get this MacBook Pro stuck while I'm editing, and it's fun because the screen is bigger. So if you don't connect it to a monitor, to a bigger screen while you're editing, this one is much better. So if your work is to edit, or you're studying something that relates to editing, animation or stuff like that, the MacBook Pro is the right answer for you, no doubt. So don't even go look for MacBook Air or stuff like that. Go directly to MacBook Pro. Yeah, definitely. Editing, if you're doing it professionally and more aggressively, this is the one. The next category is travel friendly. This is a very important one for those who love to travel, or if you are a digital nomad. Now, we all know that now is not a good time to travel the world. This is my travel bag, okay? I used to travel the world and work from around the world. Now I'm based in Israel, but I still love to travel a lot. And my plan is to travel a lot eventually. This is my travel bag. It's not the point here, but this is an amazing one. It's from Peak Design. I absolutely love it. And it has a room for the camera gear. As you can see here, there is like tiny rooms for the camera and lenses and stuff, more stuff here. Very high quality materials, and it has a lifetime warranty. Crazy. I mean, a lifetime warranty. So even if when you are 70 or 100 and you still have that bag and something is not working, your warranty should still be effective. Okay, so I will put the link in the description if you want to check this bag out. If you still don't know Peak Design. Anyway, the computers, travel friendly. So I bought this backpack because I knew it could handle 2 MacBooks at the same time, you see? So travel friendly. This one is very heavy, this one is very light. Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. But honestly, they both good if you don't have a problem with the weight and the size, and that's fun, that's cool. And the one thing I really love about the MacBook Pro is that it have 2 ports here, and the MacBook Air only have these 2. So if you need to connect it to the computer from this side or that side, the MacBook Pro has the answer, but the MacBook Air doesn't. But again, as you can see, the difference between the size, and you can't feel the weight differences, but this one is much heavier, obviously. Now, for those of you wondering, this is not a fucked up computer, it's just a cover. It's a real stone cover, which I bought actually last year. Yeah, it's a very cool cover. Actually, it's real stone, so it's awesome. So I bought it for both of them, and if you want, I will put the link in the description as well. And to make them more comfortable for traveling and working remotely, or outside, or in a restaurant, or in a coffee shop, or stuff like that, I attached them the muff. The muff is a very cool thing. So the muff, basically, it's a remotely stand for the MacBook. And when you work, you don't want to keep the MacBook flat, right? You want to have like a certain decline that will be more comfortable to your neck or stuff like that. So the muff solves this thing. Okay, so let me show you. So basically what you do is just flip this, open the muff, and you have this beautiful gap here that makes it more comfortable to work with the MacBook. It's a good tip for those who love to travel, and super thin. As you can see, you didn't even notice that, right? So guys, I hope this comparison helped you. I know it's not that techy, detailed, very specific comparison and reviews and stuff like that, but I really hope you got a decision. And if you're still not sure what to get, if it's work for editing or something complicated like that, or if you are a YouTuber and you need a computer that can handle that, the MacBook Pro. If you just need to study or work and you still want the MacBook, so get the MacBook Air. But just for you to have another look, overall, all the stuff. So let's have a look on this table here, just for you to have the final things in front of you. So the processor, definitely the MacBook Pro is stronger. Work or study, it depends. If it's editing, MacBook Pro. If it's general work, writing some stuff, doing some study, explore, wandering on the internet, on Google, so the MacBook Air is fine. Editing, definitely the MacBook Pro. Travel friendly, you saw, both of them are fine, but if you want to be lighter and you don't want to have heavy stuff with you and you want to keep the work more personal, so the MacBook Air, because also the MacBook Pro is heavier. Music, the MacBook Pro have a larger speakers, so I don't think music should be your consideration if to buy the MacBook Pro or Air, because today we have like remotely or extend speakers like JBL or stuff like that, and we have those. So don't take that into consideration, but just for you to have it in front of you, the MacBook Pro have better speakers. Ports. The MacBook Pro wins that, but today we have solution for that, like this thing. See? You just connect it with Type-C cable to your MacBook, and it's creating more, and it gives you a lot of other stuff that you can use, like regular USB, another Type-C, card readers here, and even HDMI. So guys, that's what it is. Choose your MacBook. If you're still not sure for some reason, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. This is my Instagram. I'm active there every day, and you can comment down below and we can discuss about it. But basically, you have the things in front of you, right? So make the decision and go for it. Have a nice year, 2029. Happy New Year, guys. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, turn on the bell notification, and share this video if you enjoyed. I enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.